Welcome, I'm Fran Tarkenton, and every week we try to make you smarter. And by making you smarter, we're going to bring to you people that have got great success in business, in mentoring other business people, and you will get great knowledge from them that will help you be smarter. And that's what we all need to do every day in business. We got to get smarter every day, learn every day, and that's what this program is all about. And today we've got Jeff Hayzlett, who's now in New York, but he's a South Dakota boy, and he's an iconic business person. And Jeff, welcome. We're glad to have you here. And I tell our people that we want them to have access to business people. And your background is so broad, but tell us your background so they understand exactly who they're hearing from.
Well, they're going to hear a lot from me because I've done everything from being a Fortune 100 officer of one of the most iconic companies in the world as chief marketing officer. But at the same time, I've bought and sold over 250 businesses in my career. I've owned franchises. I've started franchises. I've bought and sold printing businesses, technology business, a whole host of things. You know, I've run budgets of $17 billion and at the same time manage small businesses. And now I'm, host television shows and radio shows and then lead what I call the CSuite Network. And so we have a variety of businesses and a lot of experience that we do, but I work with a lot of high growth companies today and helping them grow and find exits or find ways for them to get much bigger, because I'm all about being big.
And tell us about the CSuite Network.
The CSuite Network is something we started. I had a television show on Bloomberg. It was the #1 primetime business show on Bloomberg. And then about the third show in, I started, watching that more people were watching me online, watching us like this, than were watching through broadcast. And I said, look, we've got to capture that. And so while I had about 1.5 million people that were watching our television show, more people started watching online. So I said, let's go out and create a network. And that's what we did. And so we created a network. We were going to call it the CEO Network. And then we said, no, let's call it the CSuite Network, because that encompassed more people. Because as I started talking to business owners and leaders, it wasn't just about them. It was about their team. Yeah. Because without your team, earlier as you and I were talking a few minutes before we got started, your team was running around, you were introducing me to them, because it takes the team to run guys like you and I. And so we started the CSuite Network, where we only invite those executives that are 10 million or greater to join us, VP or higher, to join us at conferences and in an online community that we call the CSuite Collective. And it's kind of like a LinkedIn on steroids, a place where, almost like a country club where executives at that level can get together. And it's not that we don't like businesses smaller than 10 million, they're great, because there's 27 million businesses that are smaller than 10 million, and there's only 600,000 businesses that are greater than 10 million in North America, but yet they account for 95% of the total spend. Well, I'm all about money, I'm all about getting stuff done, so we're going to where the money is.
Tell me this, so many people want to get the magic silver bullet to start and make their business work. Yeah. And you know better than that, and that's why you're doing what you're doing. Talk to us about the need to be getting ongoing mentoring and learning, not just one seminar or one work, but it's got to be ongoing.
It always has to be. You always have to learn things. You and I are old dogs. We learn new stuff all the time because someone brings something for us. I mean, every day there's something that's happening, especially with digital marketing, that I'm learning. Look, I was one of the most iconic CMOs there was in the world. The German bloggers used to call me the Chuck Norris of marketing. But at the same time, every day someone brings me something new. I think what we find, you talked about working smarter, but at the same time we got to work hard too. We all know that. Yeah. You got to be smart, there's no doubt about it, but you still have to work hard. It's called hard work because it's hard. I mean, that's what it is. And I got a brand new book called Think Big, Act Bigger that we've got out now. The rewards of being relentless. And I find it's not the lucky who win, it's the people who are relentless and day in and day out who take the time to learn from people like yourself, or learn from me, or learn from, the greatest things I've ever learned are from small business owners, not the great big guys, but guys who do it every single day. And that's what we have to do. You have to, just like you feed a tree or water, your crop, you got to do the same thing with this crop up here and learn to do it better and better every single day.
Tell us about Think Big, Act Bigger, and hold that book up one more time so we can see it.
I'll hold this book.
Just hold that up while you're talking. But I love the title, and the book is out there. It's everywhere.
$1 million already, $250 250,000 books.
Quarter of a million books.
Awesome. It's hitting the best list everywhere, which is great. I
Yeah.
don't care whether it's on the bestseller list or not. That doesn't mean more sales. All I care about is it helping people. And look, I'm sick and tired of people giving me excuses of why things can't work. And it happens all the time, whether you're in a big business or small business. In fact, I put 2.5 pages just of excuses that I crowdsource from other business leaders, because people will say, hey, it's not in the budget, or we can't activate it today because Tuesday's the best day to activate something on Facebook.
Yeah.
Give me a break, you know? My dog ate my homework. You could say whatever they are, but long list of excuses. And what I want people to do is be bolder, be badder, be a bigger version of themselves or their business, to own their story. You know, if you own your story, you know, for instance, Fran, I mean, you're a great example of being, relentless. I mean, you had 3 huge, big Super Bowls that you didn't win, but yet look how unbelievably successful. Look how you've taken those great lessons and used them to propel yourself into greatness. And I think that's what it has to be. It's not about, getting outside of that story. It's about not listening to the little voices in your head, and quit inviting those little voices to your dinner parties and to wherever you might be, and saying, look, I'm not going to listen to that. I can be bigger, I can be better, and I can be bolder, and that's what this book's all about.
Do you think, with so many people being entrepreneurs, you mentioned 27 million people, under $10 million in sales, which is a lot of people.
It's businesses.
Businesses, yeah. And we have 520,000 startups every month.
Yeah.
Is that easy to start a business?
Easy.
Tell us about that.
Never easy. It's really tough to start a business. I mean, it's easier to start. It's another thing to keep them going. Let's maybe add that, as we well know. In every business, especially entrepreneur business, they start off as a one-man band. We all know that. It's me or you. Then the next stage is they add devout followers, and then the third stage is go to skilled practitioners, and they bring in the right kinds of experts in the business. I've got one business that we've got called Tallgrass Public Relations, and it operates in New York, LA, San Francisco, and Sioux Falls. In Tallgrass, the slogan for the business, it means if you want to run with the big dogs, you got to learn to pee in the tall grass. And we're making we have a lot of turnover right now. And some of our people are really worried about that turnover. And I said, don't be worried, because see, we're going from these devout followers to skilled practitioners. We're bringing in now, we keep upping the level of people that keep coming in, and that's a normal kinds of transition. So if you've been through that, you understand that. But at the same time, if it was new to you, yeah, it's hard. It's not easy, and you have different expectations. Probably one of the best things people can do, and I think you know this very well, Fran, is what I call conditions of satisfaction. It's very important for you to start out your business by laying out what are your personal conditions of satisfaction. What do you want to get out of the business? What level of profitability, how much money are you willing to put in before you risk everything else, again and again, because we all know that's going to be the case. How much time do I want to be away from my family, because that's what it's going to take. All the things that you have to do, figure out what your conditions of satisfaction are as you start to get in there, so you can be realistic about what it's going to take, because it's going to take more than what you think it's going to take to get it done. Always is. Always is.
What is an entrepreneur, whether it's just starting a company or it's an entrepreneur that's out there struggling to keep it going or to growing it? And we see so many examples of big companies. IBM can't grow. Coca-Cola can't grow. What should be, when you wake up in the morning as an entrepreneur, what should be your first thoughts?
Well, it should be around those conditions of satisfaction. What are the 4 or 5 things I'm trying to drive in the business? Now, typically, I want to drive more customers. I want to drive more volume from those customers. I want to drive more net profitability. I probably want to drive brand value, increasing the value of my business. And if I'm really nice, I want to say, how well do I play with others? Maybe those are my 5 big things. And so then what are the filters that you want to put through to make sure I'm doing the things that day that lead to those goals? And some of those priorities are going to change from day to day, but you should always be thinking about, man, how am I going to grow this business? Because you got 3 choices: change, adapt, or die. In any business you got, that's it. You're either going to change it, you're going to adapt it, or you're going to die. And so if you're not growing, you're dying. And so it's important for you to look at growing every single day. And so what are the things that propel that growth? What are the things that sustain that growth? and then what are the things that I got to be positioned in or worried about that somebody else might do that I got to make sure I stop them or get ahead of them so I can continue to, grow fast.